one of the expressions I use quite often is that life is not personal. And that life ultimately is not about you. You only make it about you. We find ourselves taking this human form, and simply because of that, whatever can happen to a human being can happen to us. That it's not personal, that you didn't do something wrong because you have pains in your body or aches. And that the greatest teachers for the Buddha in the end was old age, sickness and death. These were the big reflections, not that, oh, why is it me? Why is it happening to me? But just these are the things that do, or at least can happen, as we move through life taking this human form. Animals are not different, of course. In fact, all beings meet the same thing. All beings meet old age, sickness and death. Our great advantage is that we can reflect upon it. We can take ourselves out of this personalization of life and develop some wisdom around what is happening or what we perceive is happening. Life is not personal. It's just what's happening in this moment. And so sometimes you get what you want, and that's wonderful. Enjoy it, because you don't always get what you want. And sometimes you get what you don't want. But we're adult people. We can respond. We can do what we need to do. Not getting what you want is not necessarily a crisis. And sometimes you get what you don't want. Perhaps illness, perhaps a severe, serious, life-threatening illness. But it's still not personal. You're not being punished. You may have to meet these difficulties, and perhaps every one of us at some point will have to meet some health difficulties. But how do we respond to that? The first thing we need to do is recognize that it's not personal. It's not about me. It's about this body that exists in its human form. And simply because of that is subject to all the things that a body existing in human form or animal form can experience. The me part is something else. If we say this is happening to me, it's a very different relationship than this is happening. What do I need to do about it? What's my relationship to this thing? Dharma really is the great gift in life. It's not some kind of modern spirituality. It's not some new age thinking and new ideas. But it's a relationship with life as we experience life through this body, which ultimately is not ours. You know, one of the great Vipassana koans we have is, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, so what am I? Well, I'm not the body means that this body, although we are in an incredibly intimate relationship with it, of course, is not ours. It doesn't matter if we don't want to get old. Aging happens. The only way to avoid getting old is to die young. And as we get old, or as we get older, we meet all the conditions that the human body has to meet. It's simple. We meet the aging process, the skin changes, the vitality changes. Our bathroom habits at night change. But it's not personal. As I say, it's not a punishment. You're not doing something wrong because you meet the aging process and it has this influence in your life. When we look at the life through the eyes of Dhamma, then we see it as the gift, and we see everything that comes to us ultimately as a gift, as a Deva Dutta, a heavenly messenger to show us this is the reality of this moment. It's not you, it's not yours, it's not what you are. Now, what do you want to do about it? Well, we have to live in harmony with it. If it's not ours, it's not what we are, if we don't own it, then we have to live in harmony with it, don't we? And this is the great gift when the heart opens. When the heart opens, the face smiles. When the Buddha realized full awakening under the Bodhi tree in the forest of Uruvela, which is now Buddha Gaya, of course, he smiled. Perhaps he didn't smile. A smile arrived. It wasn't personal. And the whole of our Dharma practice is like that. It's not personal. We make the practice. We let go and let go and let go of the conditions of our so-called unhappiness or our difficulties in life. And the consequence is a different relationship with life. It's a consequence. It's not a reward. And if you don't meet those things, you're not being punished. It's not that life is different for some people. Life is life. The external conditions perhaps are very different. But the maturing and the aging process of the body are the same for all of us. Rich people struggle in comfort, is how it's said. And the rest of us, well, we do the best we can with what we have. But all the time recognizing it's not personal. It's not something against me. It's just what's happening. Now, what do I need to do? And this is where Dharma takes you, to this opening of the heart, to this smile on the mouth, or the smile on the lips, where you're free. You're free from shaking your fist at the sky, saying, why me? Because the ultimate answer is, well, why not? You're a human being. This is what happens to human beings. So when the heart opens and there's a smile on the lips, we accept all these things. We don't struggle with life anymore. This is the beauty of Dharma and the beauty of that recognition. It's not personal, so relax a little bit. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. But we just meet the consequences of having taken life as a human being. And once we surrender into that absolute reality, then of course our difficulties fall away. We may not always get what we want, but it's okay. We're just not getting what we want. And sometimes we do get what we don't want. So we have to stop grasping at ideas of what's acceptable for us and what isn't. It's just life. In the end, it's just life. So let all those ideas go of how it should be and what you want and what you insist upon and what you demand, and be with things as they are, with that simple but beautiful recognition. It's not personal. Life is not about me. I just make it about me. And because of that, I struggle. So I offer these few words this morning for your consideration and your reflection. May you all be well and happy, and I thank you.